Alrighty, Friday. Let's get it started. Welcome back. Welcome back. How we doing? Good morning, good morning. Margin call. Shout out to you, man. Always first one here. Welcome back. Nice call on Apple. Yeah, Apple was awesome yesterday. That was like a no stress trade, man. Apple was like no stress. You just buy it. Never showed any weakness. Hold that thing all day. Go outside. Grab a drink by the pool. Check in on Apple up 100%. Great trade on Apple. Needed that one, man. Needed that one. I was talking to the group about how I needed that Apple trade. That was a got my confidence back on that one. So really nice. Meta was sick too. Yeah, Carlos Meta was great over 217. That was another really nice one. How far is the drive from Naples to Miami? About 2 hours, Gordon. About 2 hours. The Alligator Alley Drive. It's not bad with the Tesla, man. That's the best. That's why I just can't sell my Tesla. I've thought about selling the Tesla and getting something else, but every time I make that drive with the autopilot, it's just too good. It's just too good. You just sit there and you just do nothing. So that's why I keep the Tesla, because it's just really good for that drive, because that drive is just primarily straight. And you just double-click the stock and let it do its thing. So I really do like the Tesla for that reason. First time here. Welcome, Gala. Welcome. Yeah, they even have the, if you ever cut it close, they even have so right in the middle of Alligator Alley, there's a place called Snake Road. It's like right dead in the middle. And it's like a rest stop and, whatever, if you need to get snacks or water or gas, you need to get gas. They also have, Tesla superchargers there. So if you ever cut it close, you just stop at the supercharger for 10 minutes, watch a video on YouTube or something, and then you're fully charged again. So Tesla Alligator Alley is a sleepy drive. It is a sleepy drive. You got to be careful. It's not a good drive at night. I don't do the Alligator Alley drive at night. That drive at night can definitely put you to sleep. And it's a little sketchy because it's pretty dark. Sometimes there's crashes on it, and it's just, it's in the middle of nowhere. So usually we'll make that drive during the day. That's what I'd rather do that personally. When did I end up selling Apple? I'm still actually in one contract, which I might give back some profits today, but I've sold 39 out of 40 contracts yesterday. My last sell yesterday was around 3 o'clock, and then I held one overnight because why not? After locking in the profits, I said, hey, just let one ride. The cost of the supercharger is cheap as hell, man. It's so cheap. It's I think I can actually pull it up. Let me see. Charge stats. So it's like an average of 30 cents a kilowatt hour. But I don't drive much, so like the Tesla app shows you stats. So like this year so far, I've spent let's see if that focuses. So I've spent $371 on electricity this year, and the gas equivalent is $1,248. So it sort of calculates like how much you drive and then the current gas prices. So I've spent the gas equivalent of how much I've driven is $1,600, and I've spent $371 on electricity. So, I mean, it's pretty good. Banks reported, yeah. So 17 cents a kilowatt hour in Colorado. Yeah. My house in Naples is 7 cents a kilowatt hour. That's at my home though, right? That's like the at-home charging. The superchargers are always more expensive. All right, let's get started. Welcome back, everyone. Hope everyone had Motoko. Welcome to the private live streams. Welcome, my friend. All right, guys. So welcome back. Friday. Let's make it a good day. This morning, we got some bank earnings. JP Morgan reported moving higher. Goldman Sachs moving with that. The thing that you're seeing this morning that you need to pay attention to is the discrepancy between the NQ and the ES. So you're seeing Dow Jones up, obviously, because Dow Jones is primarily banks, or not primarily, but big part, right? And Goldman Sachs is a big part of, I think Goldman Sachs is the second largest name in the Dow. And Goldman Sachs is obviously up off JPM earnings. So you got some Dow strength today. You got some, ES middleman, right? ES is sort of right in the middle, which is just about flat as we speak. And then the Nasdaq is actually down 0.4%. So you're seeing some tech weakness because of just the discrepancy, right? The upside is really being driven by that bank earnings this morning, JPM earnings. So Nasdaq a little weak versus the ES right now, something we need to pay attention to as we approach today. All right, so that's the big, first thing to come into the day, understanding bank earnings, bank strength. That's going to be good for the Dow, obviously good for the ES, but you're seeing weakness on the tech stocks. And the other thing to make sure you're aware of is you have to be paying attention to this extreme weakness on the semiconductors. NVIDIA and AMD did not move up with the Nasdaq at all yesterday. Extreme weakness on those two names. So let's see if that follows through today. NVIDIA, AMD, very weak versus the Nasdaq yesterday. You had stocks like Microsoft moving higher, Apple moving higher all day. Meta was pretty decent. Google, Amazon, right? Some nice upside. NVIDIA, AMD did not move. They did not move at all, and that's something you have to definitely watch for. The other breaking news, Boeing downside. Yeah, Boeing downside with some 737 MAX delivery delays. And that's bringing Boeing down this morning. That's something we'll look at as well. All right. So those are some of your top movers today. Some introductory news to pay attention to, and let's go ahead and do the rest. So futures economic earnings calendar. We'll pull up the economic calendar here. Economic calendar. I know we have retail sales this morning, so that is something to watch out for. So here is Friday. Here is today, 8:30. Pull that up. You guys can see right here, retail sales, 8:30. That's something we will watch to see what the reaction is. You got a Fed governor speaking at 8:45, industrial production at 9:15, capacity utilization at 9:15, and then consumer sentiment really at 10 a.m. So you got some stuff here. I don't think it's, huge, but, we'll see what the reactions are. 8:30 retail sales is probably one of the more important ones to watch here in about 22 minutes. So that is the earnings calendar. You guys saw we had JPM report, some other smaller banks as well. I'll go ahead and pull that up here. So JP Morgan, we had UNH report today as well. Citibank, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, PNC. We're really just going to focus on JP Morgan, and, we'll look at some of these other banks as well, but JP Morgan's really the big one. All right. Tesla 186, big level to watch today, in my opinion. Semiconductor weakness, we'll take a look at NVIDIA and AMD. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, we'll take a look at the XLF. We'll sort of scan through some of those banks. Microsoft 290, big level to watch today. Meta 217 retest is something I'll be watching today. Google 109, and then the Apple move. We'll talk about that Apple move. And obviously, we'll take a look at Amazon. We'll take a look at some of these other tech names. We'll scan through them as we have some time at the end. So let's do it. It's Friday. I'm not here all day. I'm going to trade for maybe the first hour today, and then I'm going to Soho House. Soho House is like a little membership in Miami. So I want to enjoy my Friday. It's been a decent week. Hasn't been a great week. It's been a decent week for me, but it's Friday, right? And we gotta take our time and enjoy ourselves. That's the most important, right? We gotta enjoy the weekends. We gotta take our minds off the market. We gotta refresh. We gotta reset. I think it's very important for our performance. Trading is very mental, right? It's a big mental game. It's mentally draining. It is mentally taxing. It's tough, right? It's very, very tough. And if you don't disconnect, you're gonna get what's the word? Burnt out. That's the word. Yeah, Soho House. Yeah, I applied to be a member. I'm waiting for them to get back to me. I applied for all the houses. So, when I go to New York, I go to, Texas, I can go to those houses. So hopefully I get accepted. You're a member, Gold? Nice. All right. ES. So what's the big thing to watch today? I think it's 4170. 4170, 4200. This is that major level that we talked about a week ago. On my video, we talked about this major weekly chart level. You guys, this is the weekly chart, right? So this is some big levels here. Rejection, support, rejection, support, rejections here, and we are trading back into it, right? We're right at that 4170, 4200 again. So this is going to be very interesting. Now, I got to be honest with you guys. This is not going to be an easy spot for me as a trader. Personally, the way I trade, this is not going to be an easy long here, right? This is going to be a little sweaty in my eyes. I'm not going to be very comfortable, being long in this red zone here, because I know, right, games could be played in this zone, right? I know that there could be games that go on, in this 4170 to 4200 area on the ES. it's not going to be something I'm that comfortable with. So do I possibly miss an upside move today if we sort of rally through that? Yeah, I could foresee that, right? I could foresee myself being a little bit cautious today, especially on a Friday, right? I don't want to break any type of game plans on a Friday. I don't want to end my week on a bad note. So I still think, right? I still think you have to be cautious in this 4170 to 4200. Just because the ES is moving higher today, this morning, just because it moved higher yesterday, does not mean we can just start going long without knowing and just sort of forgetting about these rejections here. This is the same thing that happened, yesterday, the day before yesterday. If you went short just saying, hey, this looked really aggressive, I'm going short into demand, I don't give a shit, look what happened, right? So if you go long today and you just say, hey, I think the market's going up, and you forget about this supply up here, you could see, this again. So this is going to be a little bit dangerous, right? I would much rather us be here to go long today. All right, if we were down yesterday and we just consolidated at these lows yesterday, I would be much more confident looking for upside than I am with us opening today at supply, right? So a little bit difficult. So that's the larger term look, right? 4170, 4200 is not going to be that comfy, cozy area to be long, in my opinion. Now, what you can look for, if you really want to get aggressive today, what you can look for is a support at 4170. If you really want to go for it today, all right, if you're really confident, you could look to long off the 4070, and you could maybe look for that push into 42. Let me move that over. So if you do see 4170 really step up today, if that really steps up today, and it is in the pre-market, right? You can see it stepping up here all in the after hours. We didn't break under 4170. We just held right above it. We actually just held it here in the 5-minute, right? If we go to the 5-minute chart, look at this little hold at 4170. So if we do hold 4170, you might be able to long that. You might be able to take some longs off 4170 today, looking towards that 4200. I think that's very possible. I would want to be long as close as I could to 4170, because my stop loss would have to be under that level. You have to, in my eyes, you have to hold this 4170 to continue to gain that bullish momentum. As of right now, we are above it, so I still think this looks bullish here. But I would definitely want to see that demand step up at 4170 to try for that push into that 4200 high and that psych level up here at 4200, right? So, yeah, a little bit difficult this morning. I'm not going to lie, right? I'm not going to lie. A little bit sketchy on where we're trading at the moment. Definitely an area to be cautious. If you trade today, you have to understand that you are trading in this, right? You're trading in this wick rejection. You're trading in these wick rejections here. You're trading in these rejections here. So you have to understand that you are trading back into those pretty nasty rejections, right? So just make sure you keep that in mind. On the short term, I would say look to see if 4170 holds as demand. And if it does, maybe you can have that continuation. But the better trade, the easier trade, in my eyes, would be, a really clear rejection of 4170, and then maybe you give back some of yesterday's upside. That seems like the trade that makes a little bit more sense off this supply rejection, maybe back into the 4150s, right? That could be something you look for. If we reject 4170, if we see some downside under 4170, we start to reject the after hours, and then we look for that move back into the 4150s, back into these previous highs here. That could be a nice trade as well. All right, so we can look for both sides. I think it's all going to come down to what happens at 4170. So that is definitely a level I would watch today. If we go over to the SPY, we can see, right, this is also very important. If you long today, right, if you go long today, you have to know that you are trading the SPY right into a major triple top, right? Major. This is a major triple top. This is not a joke, right? This is a pretty serious 415 technical rejection level. So you have big rejections here, major rejections here, and major rejections here on the SPY at 415. So if you do go long today, right, you are longing right into this 415 level. Am I that confident to long into this 4-hour triple top? I know the market looks strong, but I just can't get behind that type of trade, right? It just doesn't make sense in regards to risk reward to be long here into this major top, right? Into this rejection here. So I don't want to discourage you from looking to the upside, right? That's not my goal here. I'm just gonna, be cautious. If I really see us hold above 415, if we get like a 415 break and hold, then maybe I'll look for that upside continuation. But to be long today before 415, looking for $1 of upside on the SPY into a triple top, it's just a little bit. It's just a little bit tough. It's a little bit tough for me to get behind. So just be careful of that 415 here on the SPY. Triple top, right? Major supply, and you are trading right into it here this morning. Yeah. I think you guys can all sort of get an idea of what I'm looking at here. On even more important here, trading upside after a green pre-market is also a little bit sketch as well. So just be careful of 415, all right? Just be careful of 415. That's going to be pretty important. All right? So let's look at the discrepancy we're seeing on the Nasdaq versus the ES. Look at what the Nasdaq has done this morning, right? Maybe this is a little bit of a sign of what's to come here on the ES. So you can see this 13,200 level, 13,002 to 13,250. We talked about this supply level on the Nasdaq. We talked about how we have to be careful being long into this level. And you can see, right, we had previous support here into rejections, and look at what's happening this morning, right? We're starting to move lower off that level. So 13,200, this is very clearly a reason not to be long today, right? This is very clearly a reason not to long tech stocks in my eyes, right? Why would I look to long back into this major rejection that's already come in yesterday, in the after hours, and in the pre-market, right? Why would I look to trade this trade? This is your risk reward on an upside trade today, right? This is your risk reward on an upside trade today. If you really focus on levels, right? The real levels on the market, the larger levels, this is your risk reward on an upside trade. And that just does not make sense, right? So that's a tough one. That's a tougher sell than the ES today, right? ES maybe outperforms because of bank stocks. The Nasdaq, I can't get behind any longs here if the Nasdaq is trading up at this 13.2. If the Nasdaq is to push above 13.2, if the Nasdaq is to come back and hold 13.2, then I can maybe get behind that long entry. I would maybe be a long buyer here, on a hold above yesterday's highs. Then maybe I'd look for that long, right? If that really starts to set up today, intraday. But early morning, I am definitely not a long buyer into 13,200. If anything, I am a watch for the morning pop, look for the bull trap, and then look to see if this supply steps in. That's the type of trader I am today. If we get that pushback in the 13.2, I will see if that rejection steps in. So watch that 13.2 on NQ, guys, and you're seeing that relative weakness on the tech stocks this morning. I would say look for that push in the 13.2 and see what happens there. That's going to be major. 13.2, maybe up to around 13.215, 13.220, anywhere in this zone, right? This is CPI highs, and this is rejections here again. So watch out for that. To the downside, I'd say you watch this little 13,100 level as potential demand. That's sort of like the 4150 level on ES, right? So you got that downside demand around 4150 on ES. And then on the Nasdaq, you got that downside demand around this 13,100. All right? That is exactly where we held yesterday. I do want to point out something on the Nasdaq yesterday that just, simply made, it was just so clean on the Nasdaq. So I'm going to go to the 2-minute chart on the Nasdaq. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a quick explanation of why the Nasdaq went up yesterday. and how it was just so clean. So the first thing we were watching yesterday was that 13,000 psych level, right? Let me go out to the 30-minute chart. Let me get this on the 30-minute. So you guys know yesterday, coming into the day, we said watch 13,000, right? 13,000 is a major psych level. It's a major previous rejection point, right? You can see previous support, 13,000. Let me move this down. 13,000, 13,000. This is on Wednesday. And then in the pre-market, we were saying, hey, 13,000 is rejecting. If we want to look for upside on the Nasdaq today, we need above 13,000. And look at what happened yesterday morning as we opened the market, right? This break and retest of 13,000 was absolutely perfection. And this is really what gave me the confidence to go long Apple, right? This pre-market high, 13,000 level, breaking and holding at market open. After I saw this candle off 13,000 yesterday, I said, all right, I'm definitely looking for upside here, right? That 13,000 hold is very nice. I know we have major demand below. We just got a break and retest of 13K, and that was really good, right? And then we continued higher. And then, right, and then intraday, what did we do, right? We got above these previous rejections of 13.1, and look at the hold that came in. Continued to hold up, right? Look at the holds at 13.1, and that's what led to our end-of-day push. So a perfect hold of bottom side demand, a perfect break and retest of 13,000, a perfect break and retest of 13.1, and then that is really what just outlined the whole day yesterday. So just a really, really clean day yesterday using these levels. Today, 13.2, 13.1, that's what I'd watch. All right. Dow Jones, Mike Jones has got the strength today. If we go out to the daily chart, I mean, damn, dude, the Mike Jones is just the Mike Jones is just it's like it's pretty much at all-time highs. I mean, what is it? Down 5%. So crazy Dow strength. If we go to the 4-hour, right? Remember we talked about this 33.5 level? Look how clean this ended up being. If you guys come to the live streams, you know we talked about this 13.5 level. Look how clean this 13.5 retest ended up being. So right here, right? Previous lows, previous highs. Break and look at this hold here. Just absolutely perfect. Break and hold 13.5 from a previous rejection point into a demand, right? Rejections, right? Supply into demand. That is absolutely perfect. Break and retest of 33,500 and a very nice push since then. At this point, right, we're starting to get close to these supply levels up here. We're starting to get a little close to this messy area. I would say it's anywhere between like this 34,400 to around this 34,650 area. You're starting to get a little heavy up here, right? Previous rejections, and then you have some rejections here around 34,400. So just be careful on the Dow as we push into this supply, right? The long entry was here. The long entry is not on a chase here, right? You have to know that, right? That's how you have to think. This was your long entry. Your long entry is not now that the Dow has pushed, 2.5% to the upside. So just be careful as you approach this 34.4 up here on the Dow. But you can look for Dow outperformance today because the Dow is clearly the strongest index this morning. Russell actually reclaimed 1800, right? Look at this 1800 hold this morning. You can see we got a break above 1800 yesterday, and we are holding above 1800 this morning. So this is pretty key on the Russell. All right, if we're holding above 1800, that is bullish for now. So watch for that 1800, and then just be careful of these rejections. What is this, like 1820? 1820, 1830. We've seen some previous rejections up here in the Russell. So if you guys are trading the Russell, just watch out for, these highs here back on Monday 2 weeks ago. Some highs back here. This is back on the 10th and 12th of March. So just watch out for that 1820, 1823 supply high. But that 1800 hold is definitely nice. So I would not short this if we're above that 1800. All right, so real quick recap of the futures. You're trading in supply on the ES, 4170 to 4200. That is a 4-hour triple top. That is very big here. If we go to the SPY, right, we can see we are rejecting. What is this guy talking about? Goodbye. 4115 on the SPY, right? We can see rejections, right? We are trading right back into that. So watch out for 415 on the SPY. All right. And then finally, the Nasdaq. If we go to the 15-minute chart, let's actually go to the hourly chart. We can clearly see the supply above here around this 13,200. I would be careful up at that 13,200 supply on the Nasdaq. So that's the futures. Let's jump into some let's jump into some stocks, and then we'll look at that retail sales, and we'll see how the market moves off that. So here's the 30-minute chart on Tesla. Here's a very interesting play that I am looking at today. I would like to see this push back into 186, and I would love to see if I can play that rejection play. All right, that's really what I'm looking for today. I would love to see if Tesla can pop back into this high, back into these highs, back into these lows, and then back into yesterday's highs. If we can get that little bull trap back into 186, I would love to see, this little move right here. So I'm definitely going to watch for that one today. That's definitely a big watch of mine. Can Tesla do a little bull trap into 186? And can we start to get heavy at these very major previous rejection points, right? Major rejections all right here, major support here. And can we get another push back into this 186? So that is definitely something that I am going to be watching here on Tesla. All right. Push back into 186, see if that rejection comes in. If we don't get that, then I probably don't trade Tesla today, because we are sitting, as I always talk about, we are sitting right in the middle of this channel, right? I'm not going to trade Tesla in the middle of this channel. I need either a push up here and a rejection. I either need a push to the downside and a demand, right? Or I need the break and retest. So, not going to trade Tesla unless we get that push into 186. Let's see what retail sales are doing. Okay, so retail sales, let's go to the SPY so we can get the numbers here. You can see a little bit of downside coming in. Core retail sales down 3.1% versus expectation of down 0.3. So very, very, very big drop in retail sales, which is, a sign that spending is slowing, right? That's a sign that the U.S. consumer is slowing spending for sure. Retail sales definitely down more than expectations. How does the market take that? As of right now, not really much movement. A little bit of downside. I mean, this should hurt, retailers more than anything. These really don't trade in the pre-market, but Home Depot, not really. Costco, yeah. So a little bit of downside. Not really moving, to be quite honest. Not really moving. I mean, you would think that, consumer slowing spending is a sign of, what the Fed is doing is working, but there could be negative ways to look at this. There could be positive ways to look at this. All that I care about is how the market looks at this, right? We could make a case. Every single person in this live stream could make a case for that to be bullish or to be bearish. We could all go in circles all day and talk about how this could be bearish or bullish. It's a waste of our time. It's a waste of our energy. It's a waste of our mental capacity. All that matters is, what does the market think? And if the market thinks this, I want to do this. So that's all that matters. So as of right now, market is saying, I don't care. That's really what the market's saying right now. It's really just holding above that 4170 still, right? So really nothing there yet. Really nothing there yet. You're just sort of sitting here. So really no change here. All right, let's go to NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is at a, NVIDIA is flashing red here at this level. This is definitely major here. So you have NVIDIA, which did not move up at all yesterday with the Nasdaq, right? Look at this. It just stayed. It actually moved lower. So this is going to be very important here, right? You have previous highs. You have previous highs. You have previous major lows, previous lows here, and you have this major low coming in again here at 263, right? 263. Very big level here on NVIDIA. Does it break or does it hold again? As of right now, it is still holding, right? You can see yesterday we held that 263. We came down to it. We held it. Today, we came down to 263 again. We're holding it still. So this could be a very nice trade, right? This could be a very nice trade. If we get a downside move under 263, if we start to really reject it, then I would look for that move, right? That could be a nice move into like this 250. This could be very nice. However, if you take that trade before this actually breaks, you are shorting into demand, and this could absolutely happen to you. And you do not want that to happen to you. That is not a good time. If you short before that demand breaks, you are potentially exposing yourself to another demand hold. So if you want to play NVIDIA short, you need to wait for that flush. You need to wait for that thing to come back up, start to test that level again. If that thing rejects, right, that is where you get your confirmation. You start to enter here with the stop loss above 263, and you can look for that downside play. That could be very juicy, right? That could be a very juicy setup, and definitely something that I am watching here. If I go to the 4-hour chart, it is a pretty defined head and shoulder, right? Pretty defined. If we break that neckline, which I believe is 263, this could be a juicy one. But you can't get in too early. You got to wait for that 263. Right? You got to wait to see if that 263 gives up. If it does not give up today, be careful on the shorts. AMD, another one that is just been dead. I mean, dead. Yesterday, it did not. Look at this price action yesterday on AMD. Look at this. This is yesterday. Absolute disgusting. So this thing's been really weak as well. You got some lows here around this 91 area that I would be cautious of, right? You can see like these lows around 91. I really don't think I would short into those lows. You can see support stepping up here around that 91. So I'd be careful on that, right? I don't think I'd short into that 91. That could be a nice little area that it holds again. I'd probably wait to see us break like this low, this 90.85. Maybe you'll use 91 as well. And I would probably wait to see if you can get that break, and then if you can get that retest continuation. All right, that's really what I would look for. So AMD, another big downside or another weak name. Here's the only little devil's advocate to that downside on AMD, right? This actually could be a slow little pullback, back into a retest level for upside, back into this little retest here, right? This could actually just be, a downside move into demand for a eventual bull flag breakout on AMD. So you got to be able to look at this both ways. I know the semiconductors are a little bit weak right now. You might be able to catch some short-term downside towards that 89, 88 area and give back this ridiculous move, right? I think right now what you're seeing is you're basically just giving back this ridiculous candle here, right? You got a big candle here. This is back on the 16th of March. You're basically just, and you guys, I mean, this is just something I truly believe in the market. You can take it for what it is. Whenever you get a big breakout, a market, in my eyes, in my opinion, what I've seen in my experience, you will always pull back to that breakout point. That is why I so much believe in the break and retest, because I know just from experience of watching these charts, whenever you get a major breakout, you will always come back to that breakout point. It's just market structure. It's the same exact thing that happened right here. Look at this. This is the same setup. Look how similar these look. This is your previous rejection point on AMD. You had a major breakout. And over the next, this is the 2nd of February, over the next 20 days, AMD pretty much just slowly came back to that breakout point. That's all it did. And then boom, it did it again. And I think you're seeing the same exact thing here, potentially, right? You're just seeing a major breakout, a slow comeback to that breakout point, and it could form another bull flag here, right? So just be a little bit cautious on that, all right? If we slowly come back to that 88, 89, this could just be another one of these. You can see it did the exact same thing here, right? So yeah, just be careful of that, right? This could just be a slow continuation. The pullback, the breakout point on NVIDIA, I still believe is much lower. I think NVIDIA still has some more juice to the downside. In my eyes, I think NVIDIA needs to come back to this 242. That's sort of what I've been looking for, right? This is you see this big breakout on NVIDIA right here? This big breakout on NVIDIA never has been retested. We have never came back to this, we never came back to this 242, right? So rejection, big breakout. We never came back, right? We never came back to that. So I still believe NVIDIA could come back to this 242 area to retest this breakout point. That's sort of what I'm, hopefully trying to catch here if we get a move under 263. All right, let's go to the banks. JP Morgan, obviously big upside this morning off bank earnings, off their earnings. You can see, look how perfect this was. It doesn't get much cleaner than this. Breakout, right? Boom, breakout. Previous high. Where did you pull back to? 123. This is just, what is this called? Starts with a B. First word starts with a B. Second word starts with an R. This is just a break and retest on a larger term time frame of this previous high, right? Broke out of this previous high, pulled back to it, double bottomed right at this previous high, break and retest, and then, yeah, just a sick move off that on earnings. But obviously, you can't say, I should have taken this into earnings because that's just, guessing. But it still is a really nice hold right here on 123 of this previous high. Very nice hold of that previous high. Am I going to chase JP Morgan earnings today? Absolutely not. I am not a trader that chases bank earnings, or not earnings in general, not just bank earnings. It's not part of my trading plan, right? I trade the break and retest. I do not chase the shiny object. So do I have any interest in trading JP Morgan today? No, not one bit. I don't chase the shiny object. I stick to my strategy. I stick to what I know. I'm not going to start trying to game plan and formulate a way to trade JP Morgan today. All I can help you with is these supply rejection levels. Watch this 138. This is a very big level here. Previous rejections, demand. You're trading right back into that 138. I would be very cautious on the long side into 138 on JPM. All right. Goldman Sachs did our move, right? The move that we were looking for into 340. It did it. And we talked about this on the stream yesterday. We said it might be JP Morgan earnings that sends GS through this low volume area. And that is exactly what happened. So you did hold very nicely above 326 yesterday, right? Look at that hold. And JP Morgan earnings are just rocketing GS through this low volume area. Watch this low. Watch this low. Keep an eye on 340 today. That's your big watch on GS today. If you can get above 340, then maybe you can look for that continuation, right? If you could see this 340 hold, then maybe GS continues. But please be careful of 340 today on GS. XLF, we've talked about this daily chart on XLF for a few weeks now. We said how XLF is coming off demand, and it definitely did, right? Demand. This is pretty much just a trader. A trader who catches this is just a trader who focuses on levels, right? A trader who says, okay, yeah, XLF is really weak. Yeah, there's a lot of panic in the market, but there's a really nice demand here around $30. Does XLF hold this $30 low, right? Does it hold here? Does it hold here like it did in the past? And it surely did, right? It surely did. So if we go to the 360 4-hour, you guys can see demand, and we're pushing up once again off this earnings today. So, yeah, just a good example of demand there on the XLF. I would say watch for like these previous lows here. What is this? This is like 33, right in this area here. I would say watch out for these previous lows right here. Previous low here, previous low here, and you can see we're trading right back into it again. All right, so watch that little double bottom low around 33 on XLF. See how it does there. All right, so that's the banks. I think if you want to trade continuation today, I think one of the better ones to watch, the one that I would watch personally, is GS over 340. That's really what I would watch. I would leave JP Morgan alone. I mean, that's just my personal opinion, but. All right, let's go Microsoft real quick. Microsoft, you guys can see this 290 supply is still very much intact. You guys can see right here, 290, 290, and look again today at 290. So I think you just have to treat Microsoft as a channel trade here. You have that 290 supply up here. You have this 281 demand down here. If we go to the 5-minute chart, I would probably just watch for this retest. This could be, right? This could be, and this is actually what Microsoft did yesterday. Look at this 287 level. This is actually really nice. Wow. I didn't realize Microsoft did this yesterday. You guys know I've made videos about the break and retest of previous day highs, right? My video yesterday was about that. And yesterday's video was one of the worst watched videos I've ever made. So hopefully you guys go watch that one. It was actually a pretty good video, but it seems like people weren't very attracted to it. Microsoft, previous highs, break and hold. Look at this. Look at this, right? That is pretty nice stuff, guys. That is just the definition of what I talk about every single day on this channel. It's easy, right? It's easy to make content for you guys when what I talk about happens so much on the market, right? If you make content about something that doesn't happen, right, and you're just making things up, it's pretty difficult to make YouTube videos. Pretty difficult to talk on a live stream. But when what we talk about, the strategies we talk about, work over and over and over again and happen every day on the market, right? It's pretty easy to be here talking about it. So this is just, makes my life easy when I see this beautiful 287, right? Break and retest of previous day highs. Look at that. Even intraday, what is this? Around 10:15, we got a break. We got beautiful wick holds above that 287, and then look at that continuation. So really nice there. Now, if Microsoft is to break under that level, right? Look, we're starting to break under it. So if we break under that 287, yeah, I know. I guess people didn't watch it because there's no money value in the thumbnail. I tried to be not as much of a clickbaiter, but I guess that's what that's what I got to do, I guess. 287, right? You guys can see right here. If we hold below 287, that could be your next watch to the downside, right? If we turn the yesterday's highs now into rejection points, right, then we look for that flip. So 287 is the key today. Watch 287 on Microsoft. Watch these Wednesday double top highs. All right. Meta. Really what I want to see is 217 pullback, right? I want to see that 217 pullback. That is really what my eyes are on today. So you can see right here, 217, right? You got this rejection, you got this rejection, you got this rejection, you got this rejection. You got a break, and if you get a retest, this could be really nice, right? This could still be really nice on Meta. So watch for that pullback to 217. If you get that pullback to 217, this could really be a nice little break and retest. It's there, right? It's definitely there. You do not want to be a short into 217 on Meta. You are shorting back into a previous triple top, which could hold as a demand. So I would look to see if Meta pulls back aggressively in the 217 today, see if that starts to step up. If it does not, right, if we fall back below and start to reject it, then you got your trade back into the 212s. All right, so all about 217 on Meta. Google, clear supply coming in here on Google as well, right? You guys can see 4-hour chart. Look at what we're setting up here. You guys can see we have this previous double top right there. And you guys have this rejection here on the 6th last week. And look at the move that we're seeing this morning. We got to push back into supply, and we're starting to reject it again. So here on the 15-minute chart, actually, let's go 30-minute. You guys can see pretty much just a channel trade right now. I really don't love anything here, to be quite honest. I think we can watch the 107. That has been a previous pretty important level. So we can keep an eye on that 107 to see what happens there. Does it hold 107 for upside? But I think when we really zoom out, I think I like the downside play more using this major 109 supply above. So I would look to see if you can get that downside continuation off that 109 supply. If we get continuation on the market to the downside, you might be looking back, right, at this 104 low. Right, you might be looking back for that 104 low here. So just watch that 109 supply today. I would not long Google if you are below 109, right? That is very clear. We're not going to long into a triple top supply. That's not going to be us. If you come to my live stream, we ain't going long into 109 triple top supply. So be careful there. You're sort of in the middle, which I don't love here. I would rather us be like right here to take this short back into 104. But if we do get a strong downside continuation today, that could be where we're heading. So I do like that Google setup. All right, let's talk a little bit about Apple yesterday, right? And just sort of get an idea of what happened. So Apple, right? We talked about this break and retest. This was all on the live stream. So congrats if you guys were here for it. Congrats if you caught this in the Discord. We traded this thing live, just from entry to exit. Really nice. So previous triple top high into a pretty much triple bottom low, right? Break and retest once again. Break and retest once again. Now, you broke that downtrend, right? You broke that downtrend yesterday, and you got a very big squeeze to the upside. You can see we got above the previous day highs around this 162, and that's where we really started to push. Now today, right, what are we looking at today? We're looking at this 164 level. This is what we're going to be eyeing today, 164. This low, this high, and we are sort of right back at that right now. So what am I watching? I'm looking to see how Apple reacts at 164 today. If Apple holds 164, this could actually still be a healthy pullback on Apple, right? Back to these previous lows, back to this high here, back to this high here. If Apple tries to maintain 164, I'll look to see if there's a bounce. If Apple loses 164, then I'm going to look for that downside, right? I'm going to look for this to give back, this move. Maybe back into these lows around this 162 again, right? You can see this 162 lows right here, double bottom, 1 and 2, into a rejection here, right? That's the breakout point. So do we need to retest the breakout point? Do we need to see a move back to 162 today? That's possible as well. So my eyes are on 164 this morning. Do we hold 164, right? And if we do we get a nice push off of it? As we speak, we're seeing a little bit of demand step up there. So keep an eye on that 164 today on Apple. All right, guys, I'm going to go over the futures one more time, just a quick refresher, and then I'm going to head out of here. It's getting late. It's Friday. So what's happening this morning? Why can't we go long this morning? Why do we have to be careful on the long side this morning? You are still rejecting 4170. Look at this 4-hour wick rejection at 4170. If you go long today, you are not paying attention to technical levels. Sure, you might make money, right? If this thing just rallies at open and you make money and you think you're a great trader, I'm not going to take anything away from you. Great, I'm happy you made money, but you are longing into a major supply here on the ES. You have to be aware of this. You are longing into this major triple top on the ES. Please be cautious of this level. You already see the unwillingness. I don't know if that's a word, but the willingness to not get over 4170, right? You can clearly see this. Look at this reaction this morning. You have to be cautious up here at 4170, especially on a Friday, especially on the end of the week, 0 DTE. Do not be longing into 4170 today unless it very clearly holds above. And same thing on the Nasdaq, right? The Nasdaq has clearly rejected this 13.2. You can see it's breaking down into the 13.1. Keep an eye on that 13.1 today. On the SPY, I don't think there's any reason to be going long here into this triple top on 415. If the trade is to the upside today, I'll probably walk away. I'll probably go to Soho House and I'll enjoy my weekend, because I'm not going to long into 415 on the SPY. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I just can't get behind it. I know that sounds biased. It's actually not biased. It's actually just really trusting a technical level, right? I just will not long into a triple top on the ES, and I will not long into a triple top on the SPY. If that's the trade, right, if that is really the way that you make money today, I don't want to be a part of it. I'd rather just end the week on a flat, end the day on a Friday flat and just go enjoy my day. That's just pure technical analysis. Have no interest in going long into that supply. So please be careful of that. 4170, 415, that looks a little bit dangerous up there. Reluctant. That's the word. Reluctance to get over 4170. Yes, I like it. All right, guys. Have a great day. Press that like button if you could. Can we get to 1,000 likes? Probably not on this beautiful Friday, unfortunately. But if you want to help me out on this beautiful Friday, if you want to be so kind, press that like button. Get us to 1,000 likes here. Subscribe to the channel. Who donated $10? B. Fisher. Great day yesterday, Vin. Thank you. Thank you, B. Fisher. Appreciate you, my friend. All right, guys. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic weekend. Go enjoy yourself. If you don't like anything today, don't trade. Please don't mess up your week on a Friday. You don't need to get all crazy on this Friday, right? You can end the week early. You can enjoy yourself. If you had a good week, no reason to mess it up. You don't need to trade every day. You guys see a lot of people out there that don't trade Fridays because it's probably the most common day to give back profits. So if you feel that way, please don't feel that pressure to trade. So I'm definitely going to take my own advice today. If I'm not feeling anything today, I'm getting out of here. And I'm going and enjoying, and I'm coming back real strong, real relaxed on Monday, refreshed, ready to attack, on Monday morning. So have a great day, guys. Have a great weekend. Thank you guys for everything. Press that like button, and I will see you guys on Monday. Peace out.